I think there's two things that can be really great for someone who's doing just, fast fashion, kind of get it through, high volume. But then for me, it was just this thing of like there was constant kind of mistakes that we needed to keep correcting, and it became even more costly in the end because you're like, actually, no, you should have put that trim that we specified on this sheet, and then language becomes a barrier. And it just became like really nightmarish. So I thought, stop that, let's just take it back in and control it internally.
Do you think it's also important for consumers to know that their garments have been made ethically and that workers have been properly paid?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Like, I don't want to be selling a really expensive product knowing that someone somewhere hasn't been paid, or, selling a $12 pair of jeans that you go, actually, how can that happen at retail when someone has to make it, someone has to make the fabric, all these things, and you're going, well, someone's not getting paid somewhere. And that's where I go, okay, you're buying an expensive garment, and I know who I'm paying and where that money's going to. And that's kind of where I get into this conundrum of like, okay, it's hard to monitor some of the big guys.
Should there be a better way of making the whole process transparent so that regardless of how much you've paid, you know where the clothing's come from and that workers have been appropriately paid?
Look, I think it's a nice idea, but at the end of the day, it's that customer who goes, that's all I can afford, and is going to be like, I can only afford a $12 pair of jeans. And in the end, that's why places like Kmart are still, in business and do thrive, because not everybody can afford, a $200 pair of jeans. I've worked in a jeans company, and I understand what all the processes are in order to get that pair to $200. And even then, you're like cutting costs because you're cutting your margin, because really, I mean, it's done locally. So our level of, income is so high. So it's trying to figure out, okay, well, do I pay my suppliers and then get a less cut for myself? And it's kind of that balance, I think, when you're looking at local market. But I think in the end, it's like what the customer will keep paying for.